Hello, I'm Sarah if you're new here, and I make motherhood and simple living content. So I've been a minimalist for about 5 years now, and a little bit about me is that I'm a stay-at-home mom, meaning my husband and I, we're a one-income household, and we also have a 11-month-old and a dog. So we're in our first home that we've ever bought. We do have a mortgage on it, but other than that, we don't have any debt. And I also wanted to add that we are currently working on building up our emergency fund. So ideally we have 6 months of expenses, but right now the biggest goal is just hit the 3 months of expenses and hopefully build it from there. So to start off, the first thing is going to be snacks and drinks. I used to love buying snacks and drinks in college, and it got way out of hand. With groceries, inflation, the cost of everything has just spiked so much that if I were to go and buy snacks and drinks on top of my normal groceries, I would I can't say double, but at least 1.5x what I currently spend on groceries now. So the only exception to this is we do buy ground coffee and Nespresso pods for our coffee maker. And we also, every once in a while, get coconut water, but it's definitely not a every single grocery trip kind of thing. The snacks that we have are simply fruit, nuts, simple things. I like to keep a lot of pantry staples like bananas, eggs, flour, sugar, that kind of thing, to make things like banana bread, chocolate chip cookies, little sweets and treats that if we really have a sweet tooth or something fun, a fun craving, I can pretty much whip that up pretty easily. So it also forces us to have healthier options on hand because we're not eating all of this processed food. So even though I can make the sweet treats, overall, I think it definitely helps us stay health conscious and not just grab the first thing that we see in the pantry. So next up, we are going to keep it in the food trend, and we have food delivery service. So the exception is about monthly we will get a pizza delivered. Not every month, but I'm going to say roughly because, of course, we extend grace with everything. But I realized with Uber Eats and DoorDash and all the other apps that you can use for having food delivered to your house, it's not only the delivery fee. They also typically charge now a service fee. And I don't know if you've noticed, but a lot of times the prices on the delivery app are actually higher than the prices if you were just to go order it, even with pickup, and then, of course, order it in store. So we rarely do that. And the next thing that I have is going to be hair, nails, and eyebrows. So obviously I do get my hair trimmed every once in a while, but it's literally every 6 to 12 months. My last haircut was in March, so very recent. And I literally just cut off about 4 to 5 inches because I know myself and I don't prioritize haircuts. I don't color my hair. I don't do anything fancy to it, which saves a ton of money in the long run. I'm not going to say that I don't ever get my nails done. If I have a really fancy occasion, like a wedding, I will get them done most times when it's with my family or friends. So moving on. I'm doing a Moroccan mint tea, and I'm not normally a mint tea girly, but this is actually really good. Okay. Next thing we have is handbags and shoes. So no, I don't not purchase handbags and shoes. However, I think it's about 5 handbags, and I have no desire whatsoever to get a new handbag right now. Normally the handbags that I do have are gifts, and then the one handbag that I did splurge on a little bit was my diaper bag, which can actually be repurposed in the future. And if you want more details on it, I can make a what's in my diaper bag kind of video and give you more info on that. But let me know if that is something that interests you. So the other part of this category is going to be shoes. So I don't have 2 pairs of shoes. I'm not that much of a minimalist. I made a mostly minimalist wardrobe declutter closet video that I'll link here if you'd like. But I have 8 pairs of shoes. That's 2 boots, 2 sandals, 2 high heels, and 2 sneakers. Yeah, 8 pairs of shoes. And it suits me perfectly. I don't need a bazillion different colors and things. I try to keep the basics. Most of these shoe options that I have are white and black, and it suits me perfectly. So I don't go out of my way to purchase shoes or purses. So the next thing I have is physical books. Now, before you say, oh, but I love flipping through physical books, I do too. And that's why I keep my favorites, which are only the ones that I would consider rereading myself, because if I'm not going to reread it, unless it has some significant sentimental value, I don't keep it. But if I really want a physical book, I can just go to the library and get it. I got my library card for Brevard County about a month ago, and it's been amazing. Anything I want, is pretty much there. And if there's a newer book or something that, my friends are into, normally I can just ask a girlfriend to borrow it, and they're more than happy to share. So I don't buy physical books. I do use my Kindle. Well, I haven't used it much recently since having baby, but I do have a Kindle that I really do love when I am in the reading mood. So next up is going to be non-essential furniture. Part of being a minimalist is not having excess furniture, because excess furniture kind of brings in more storage for essentially clutter. If you have something to store stuff, you're most likely going to use it. So some things that I've actually not gone out of my way to purchase quite yet, not saying that I'm never going to, but that I don't have now, is a whole entryway setup, because it's just not a priority and we haven't needed it. It's not quite to the point to where it'd be that functional that we feel that we need to prioritize going out and buying that. I thought about having a little hutch for under our little picture frames in the dining room, living room area. I thought it'd be so cute. I saw a really cute one at Target that I almost bought, but it was $190 and I'd want 2 of them. And normally you'd store dishes and knickknacks in it. And the more I thought about it, I'm like, this is just gonna encourage me to fill up 2 more hutches of stuff that truthfully I probably don't need. And on top of that, it just means it's another thing I have to clean, another surface I have to dust, and another space of cabinets that I have to clean out. We try to avoid that whenever possible. And next up, we have new cars. Now, if you didn't know, new cars lose, I think it's about 60% of their value literally when you drive it off the lot, which is insane. So I would never consider actually owning a new car unless I could purchase it cash, and that's just a little tiny blip in my salary, but that's not at all where we're at right now. So we actually own 1 car that we share. I know this isn't practical for everyone, but for us, it works just fine. My husband works from home and I'm a stay-at-home mom, so it's perfect. And also, we wouldn't go out and get a car payment. As much as every time we go and get our car serviced at the dealership, they're trying to sell us a car, saying, oh, we'll trade in this one for this much money. We're like, nope, sorry, we don't lease cars. It's just not something we want to have. Not having extra payments is just a lifesaver when it comes to saving money. Next, we have single-use baby gear. So this is kind of niche if you're a parent, but I was thinking about the things that I buy, and I thought about, when I purchased my stroller, it's actually a stroller that can fit the car seat, can fit the regular stroller seat, and it turns into a double stroller. So it's very versatile in that. I think it's it's called a travel system stroller. When it comes to the swing that I have, the swing can also turn into a bouncer. And then when it comes to the little activity center play gym thing that I have, it turns into a little table that's closed or a little table that's open, so that as the child grows up, they can use it. On top of my high chair. My high chair is something that can also eventually be turned into more of a booster seat that we could end up using at the little table. So there's just a bunch of things that I have for my baby that whenever possible, I try to make sure it's multi-use. One more thing I almost forgot is the changing table that I have. It's actually just removable top part that I'm just going to turn into a dresser as she gets older to use. So just thinking ahead like that really helps. Lastly, and I kind of hinted at this already, but we don't use credit in our house. Fun fact about me, I actually used to work for Dave Ramsey's company. And if you ask me now, do I perfectly follow the baby steps, if you know what that is? Technically not perfectly, because we bought a house before we fully funded our emergency fund, but we are working on funding that emergency fund, and we don't really use credit whenever possible, actually at all, other than the house. But we do own we do like have a credit card. I don't, but my husband does, that he likes to put big purchases on for the points. And even when we do use it, we immediately pay it off. So I've never liked the idea of paying more than I needed to. And that's exactly what interest is, and credit like helps you do. And if you didn't know, you actually spend more with a credit card or a debit card, even like with plastic, because it's so much easier than you do with physical cash. And then it's even easier nowadays with Apple Pay. So I like refuse to use Apple Pay on my phone because I just know I'd be scanning everything and purchasing and realizing, holy cow, I just spent who knows how much on whatever it is. You just spend more when you're using credit. So I try to avoid it as much as possible. And a little bonus tip that kind of goes off of Dave Ramsey's plan as well is just living on a budget. It is so essential to me to live on a budget, and it's not what most people think it is. Some people are like, oh, it's so constricting. You know, I feel like I can't do anything. It's so like not fun. Now, I am the nerd, so I do like to nerd out on numbers, but I will say the budget for me feels like the freedom to go and spend. So I know exactly how much I can spend in this category, so I don't feel guilty when I just want to treat myself to a coffee or go and buy my baby some new clothes, which I also do try to do secondhand whenever possible. But there's no shame to it. I know how much I have in my budget, and if I'm overspending in a category in my budget, I talk to my husband, or I just go back in the budget and I pull from a different category. I'm like, okay, maybe we overspent in, let's say, the baby miscellaneous fund, but I'm just gonna pull it from our, like, my fun money maybe, because maybe it was something we probably didn't need, but I was like, oh, you know, I wanna buy it for her. So I just, you know, balance out the categories, and it ends up working out just as fine. So that's what we do to save money. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this kind of content, please let me know and give this video a like. I definitely like talking money things. It's just very interesting. I hope you take whatever works for you in this video, and I hope that it helps you save some money going forward. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.